Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to have a big trigger warning for this video. I do talk a lot about mental health, but this video in particular is going to be my darkest one, my heaviest one, my most triggering video. This video is going to be covering like the feelings of when you don't want to live anymore, basically, and when you feel like the only way out of your suffering is through death. Really heavy subject if you are not doing well, and if that is something that you don't think you can hear right now, then of course take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. There will be no nitty-gritty with details. I'm not gonna be, whatever. I'm gonna be talking about feelings, because I feel like if you've never been there, if you've never felt that darkness, then somebody coming to you and trying to explain it, it's never gonna click. You know what I mean? Because you don't understand. So I've really been talking about this for a while, because I try to be very plain and open about like mental health on my channel. I think that's what the point of this is. But it's really scary talking about this, because it's really difficult. It's really hard. It's hard to talk to anyone about it, especially when you're dealing with it. I luckily have found my way out of that darkness. At least I don't feel it. I don't feel it constantly anymore. Starting about like a year and a half ago, it started calming down. But I remember at first, that darkness first clouding my brain when I was in elementary school. Now, of course, I'm not getting into like details or anything, but I did go through a lot of trauma when I was a child, until eventually I moved out of till I got away from like my family. I dealt with a lot of like crap from them. And it wasn't just like difficult family relationships, it was like pure hatred for your child. It's kind of insane, honestly, and gives me fear of being a mother, for fear that I will turn into what my mother was. But that's a whole nother discussion. Anyway, I remember the difficulties first starting when I was like 7 or 8. Ideations and just a constant feeling of worthlessness and self-hatred, which was being spewed on me from, it wasn't internal. I don't think children don't feel that. It's taught. I don't think self-hatred, in my opinion, is not taught, or, oh my god, it is not just, it doesn't just, the only word I'm coming up with is spawn for some reason. That's the only word I'm coming up with. Spawn. It's taught. At least in my experience, because my disorder is completely, or 90% trauma based, borderline personality disorder. It's taught. It was taught to me, those, like, they're not voices. They're not like actual like voices that I'm hearing, but it's internal. Constant negative self-talk, doubt of everything you do. It's constant. And I remember that real darkness starting when I was in elementary school, and as I got older, it just got worse and worse. And I I don't know, I struggled. And I'm really trying to talk about this, but like I'm trying to like still be YouTube safe, I guess. I'm still trying to be YouTube safe. So I want to talk about what I felt. So wanting to die to me was a constant weight on my shoulders. And it was, I couldn't feel any joy. It was really hard for me to experience things or feel happiness because I constantly had this absoluteness hanging over me. Because I always felt that was how did not have long to live. I constantly always remember feeling like it was literally a ticking time bomb. Like I had a few more years. I was not going to make it. I was not going to make it past 20. I knew that for a fact. It was not me just deciding that. It was absolute. I felt like it was like a truth as much as 1 + 1 = 2. It was a truth that I wasn't going to make it. There was no way I didn't have a life past, however, like I just never could see myself being my own person. I never saw myself getting out of the depression. I never saw myself getting out of it. So I felt so hopeless. I never got any help. Nobody in my family did help. They were all kind of just, dude, this hair is really pissing me off. Anyway, everyone just kind of was like, get over it. And which doesn't help at all. If I could just get over it, I would. That's the crazy thing people don't consider is like, oh, it is so infuriating when my family would tell me like, oh, just quit dwelling on it. Ma'am, it is in my head, bro. It is ingrained in my brain, bro. It's not something I'm just like thinking about. This thing like invades every thought I have. Every happiness I can experience that I'm capable of is dampened by this constant suffering that I'm constantly feeling. And instead of anyone getting me help, they just are like, it's crazy looking back, like in being a child and looking back and realizing that I was never gonna get help because my mother viewed it as like, she didn't want doctors. She didn't want doctors questioning her or like my bad mental health reflecting badly on her. And so I got medicine one time, and unfortunately it was from a damn pediatrician who was like holistic. She was like, just take some vitamins or some shit. Okay, I understand whatever, but when I'm begging you for help and I'm telling you and I'm sharing with you all the shit I have to deal with, like, Jesus Christ, ma'am, there's a time and a place. You're a doctor for a reason, bro. What? And you're gonna tell me to take some fucking vitamins? But then again, it is a pediatrician. I don't think she was really trained or really taught too much about that kind of stuff. Like, no, it's not just a vitamin imbalance, which I guess in some cases, sure, but it like very clearly wasn't in my case. Like I was literally diagnosed with like severe depression, and then she was just like, oh, go take some vitamin D. That really infuriates me, bro. Looking back, like, about all that time, I've been like, how many adults just failed me over and over again. It's if you are a parent, and if there's anybody watching me with children, like, I feel like people forget what it's like to be a kid once you get older, or because you understand and you get out of it and you're like, man, all that shit I thought was important back then wasn't. Sure, but at the time it was. That's all your life was. And sure, it's not as important, or it doesn't mean as much as what you experience now, and in your experience now as an adult, it seems trivial. But please remember what it was like being a kid. And I remember my mom always saying that, like, the worst thing, she's like, you're so lucky to be a child, which I don't understand why the hell she would say that, because she made every moment of my life around her a living hell. But whatever. Like, you choose to make, you choose to let you are literally, your child has no way to live its own life, and like, they're stuck to you. And some people like take advantage of that and like can do whatever they want. Oh, I'm getting a little off track. I'm getting a little angry about some stuff that I was not planning on talking about. Deep breath. Okay. Anyway, so yes, I got diagnosed with like really severe depression and nobody helped. And that was when I finally first got medicine when I was 15, and I was ecstatic. But it stopped pretty quickly. I don't remember what the medicine it was. It was such a low dose. It wasn't right. And then I never went back. I never got a new script for it. I never got nothing else. I didn't get medicine until I had a mental break at 18 years old. I had my mental break October 2021. Yeah. My mental break October 2021. And I remember it was during that time, those feelings were so, like, those feelings of, I don't know, death. I don't really know how else to explain it. Those feelings of like absolute certainty was unbearable. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't shower. I could barely eat. And it was constant. It was constant pain. And the people I was living with it was not my mother at that point. Didn't understand, didn't care, and were really angry about it. The only thing I could do was, when I knew the situation had got dangerous enough, I would have someone drive me to the psych ward and drop me off there. And they would keep me for some days, and then they'd release me with a medicine tweak or whatever. But they always told me, because of like what I had, there was nothing they could really do. I went back, I don't know how many times. It just always felt so pointless, because I knew I was coming back. I knew I was coming back every time. Like, I knew it was going to happen again, or it would become dangerous again, and I would, whatever. And you're not a failure for needing to, I don't know, you're not a failure for needing to protect yourself. And if you are ever in the situation where you genuinely feel like you can't trust yourself, was because that's what my criteria was. If I cannot trust myself, I can't trust my brain, I can't trust my body enough to guarantee my safety, I would go. And that's a really hard decision to make, but it was really life and death. And I guess as much as I felt like the end was near, I desperately fought to live. I fought really hard, and that's the only reason I'm still here, because I could have given up so many times. But I kept calling that fucking psych ward. I kept calling and being like, I need to go now. I need to go now. This is it. Bye. You know, like, which it wasn't forever, but I'd always come back because it was just a means of like getting out of the crisis state. But the problem is like, I never felt better after, or maybe like I felt better enough where I was like happy to be able to get my phone and like go outside, because when you're in the psych ward, like, you're stuck inside. They got a TV, coloring books, and some bendy ass pens. I don't think they even let you have, I don't even remember, they wouldn't even let us have like pencils, and we couldn't really bring anything in from the outside. It was really, which is perfectly understandable for safety reasons, of course, but you really miss spoons and forks really quick, because they would just give you, which again, I understand for safety purposes, but like, they would just give you like a folded up piece of cardboard, which it was, it was folded up to look kind of like a spoon, and then that's what you would eat with. It was really annoying, but that's what you have to do when you're in those crisis situations, is it's for the staff's safety and your own, that if you're in that situation, you don't have access to anything that could harm you, because again, you can't trust your mind and your body. And I guess that's what is not being able to trust your brain, not being able to trust yourself, because there is just this sickly voice constantly like murmuring about how worthless you are and how much better off life would be if you weren't around, which, darling, is not true. Because here's the thing, where is it coming from? Where is that voice coming from? Because it's not you. That sickly thing, that like, that darkness that lives in your brain is not you. That is not you, because it's something else. It's something that it's suffering. It's suffering. It's I guess it's your brain like desperate for a break, kind of like, and that is not you as a person. And I had to understand, it was really hard for me to understand that for a while, that I did not want to die, because I constantly felt like I did. Like, I felt there was no other way. That was it. Like, I didn't at the time believe in a higher power, or I don't believe in a higher power or whatever. But if I had, I would be afraid that that would have tipped me over the edge, because it felt, there were so many times I remember relaying to people that I felt like it was, now I'm not saying it wasn't, obviously, but I tried to explain it to people by saying it feels like God is telling me to die. And it feels like it is so certain that it is out of my hands, truly. That's how it felt. That's how it was spoken to me. Now, again, not like actual voices. Like, I'm not hearing things. It's all up here, thoughts. But they were so detached from my own psyche that, like, they were their own thought sounds. I don't fucking know. It was insane. And I would say it's a miracle that I made it through, but that was all me. That was all me. I fought to be here. And I fought to survive. I fought tooth and fucking nail. Every day I laid and rotted in bed and just couldn't do anything but freaking wallow and just suffering. That was me fighting for my damn life. All of those moments where I sat there, I was fighting. And I know there are other people who are out there fighting the same. And to other people who don't understand, it looks like you're being a dummy. It looks like you're being lazy and you're just sad and just blah, 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 blah. But wanting to end your life is not just sadness. It is a suffering in its own. It is a pain unlike any other that I think anyone could ever experience. It is frightening to not only yourself, but to people who care about you. And this went on for years. I had fought with those thoughts for most 90% of my life. And I'm still kicking. I'm still kicking. Because the thing is, those they can't do nothing. They can only try to convince me to do something. And it's really annoying. Like, I mean, like, it's strange. It's weird to use the word annoying for something like that, but it really was. Like, I was just like, damn, can this just stop? Like, you know what I mean? Like a freaking fly buzzing around my head, you know what I mean? God, I kind of like dumped there. I kind of like said a lot. I went off a little bit. I feel a little lighter now. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breath, guys. Okay, in and out. Okay. That was really hard. That was really hard. That was really intense. Think I'm gonna have to eat some ice cream after that, just to make me feel a little bit better. I've been in a little bit I've been kind of depressed recently. Like for the last week or so, I've been pretty down and out, and I'm thinking it's gonna turn around. I just haven't been sleeping well, and I haven't been sleeping well. I've been just, I don't know, just not feeling good, not able to get up and do the things that I want to do. I've completely like abandoned I haven't been able to do my hobbies. I haven't been able to do nothing. Not really sure if I got all I wanted to get out. It's really hard tiptoeing around. Like, I wish I could just like openly talk about it, but I know that I can't, and I think that it would be helpful. I don't think I understand like why these kind of things are censored, but I feel like people should be able to talk about things as long as you give like a proper, I guess, trigger warning and stuff, and you're not going into too much, and you're not like giving specifics or anything. I feel like you should be able to talk about this kind of stuff because it's important. And hearing someone talk, if I would have heard someone say the things I just said during that time, I think it would have been a lot more helpful. It would have been really helpful for me. And I hope that you listening to this do not feel that what I just felt, but if you ever have, or if you do, I'm really sorry. I don't wish mental health issues on my worst enemy. It is truly a hell unlike any other. And I fear the depths of my mind. I fear plummeting back into darkness at any time. Like, my brain is a ticking time bomb. But I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna keep living, and I'm gonna keep trying, because I made it past when I thought I would, and the voices, the thoughts have like ceased for now. Hopefully I'll never have them again. But for now, all I ever wanted was to just have a quiet mind. Just a quiet brain. And I pray that your mind is kind to you and that you're okay and that you're well. Alright, that was a really heavy video. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm gonna go eat some ice cream. I'm gonna go eat some ice cream. You do something nice for yourself. You go do something nice for yourself too. Go eat some ice cream, do whatever the hell you want. Go take a walk or something, girl. Because you need it. We all do. Okay. That was a difficult video. And I thank you so much for sticking to the end. I will see you next time. Bye.